show with the flyest intro music in all of Cyberland. Dialogue with Dozie. How about you, Dozie Land? We back at you tonight. Second show of the new year. This is a show that we wanted to kind of open up with, but it was just timely last week to do our pastor because of his resignation. And tonight, we are blessed to have two excellent life coaches on tonight. And they're going to talk about us. We're not talking about resolutions, but we're going to talk about setting up our priorities straight for the new year's. I think that's going to help all of us. I can't wait to gleam. I need to be sitting here with my notepads. So, Madam Producer, if I'm off for a minute, if you could I'll be writing down notes, because I definitely, after all these years I've been on the planet, I learned that there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to learn from these two fantastic individuals tonight. Sister Shalonda Johnson, our family sister, and not only that, she is an avowed speaker, a great speaker, a life coach, and one of the best to ever do it. Coach Curtis Dean. He is here tonight with his traditional apparel. Coach Dean is an avowed life coach. Awesome, both of them. I was blessed to meet Coach during the pandemic. Let's come on, guys, and let's chop this thing up tonight. How y'all doing?
Good evening, everyone.
Pretty smiles.
How's everyone doing?
How you doing, Coachy? Tell us what y'all been doing. Well, first of all, Happy New Year to both of you all and your families. And hope, Coach, you're going to be able to get the Queen on or speak or something tonight. But just tell us how the holidays and how the New Year's treating you. We got time tonight. Let's just chop it up for a second.
Everything's been going really, really well. Had a great holiday. We had the family down. My granddaughter from Missouri was here. And, of course, the little one, those of you who follow me at all, know I have a 2.5-year-old granddaughter who takes up a lot of our times and energies and loves. And so we had a ball. Great holiday. Looking forward to a great 2024. We closed out 2023 on a high and just can't wait to continue to do that all this year.
And well, one thing we know who runs that house, and it's not the Deans, it's the baby Dean.
That is for sure. That is definitely for sure.
Miss Shay, how about you, sis?
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year to all. Yes, closed out 2023, was ready to see it go. It was a year of just some turbulence, but thank God we made it to the other side. And had a great time spending time with family, friends. I just had some relatives come down from Detroit, just left actually Sunday. So it was a great time with family, fellowship, way too much food, way too much food. And of course, balancing work, and just a really good time to just relax and reflect over the things that went well in 2023, and looking forward, like he said, to keeping a momentum going into 2024.
That's what's up. Coach, I want to ask both of you are interested, both of you all spoke of family. This has been so. When I left home in 1979 and never lived home in Jacksonville since then, I've gone there and been there, and I had some medical treatments there, and I think 2010 gave me 90 days, like 3 months or so, to spend with my parents and be there with my brothers. But one of the things that this year did for us was that we connected with all of our families. I got to see all of my brothers. My mother spent time with me over the Christmas holidays. And then my partner in crime on the show, Kim, and his lovely bride, the princess, Donna, came down and spent the New Year's with us. And that's something, and we're blessed, God, as wherever we've been connected with good church members and friends. Shalonda's like an extended member of our family. But it was just great being with family. Just elaborate a little bit on some of the things that you guys did as family and the importance of family. That's what I really want to talk about, the importance of family, which is kind of germane to our show tonight.
I will defer to you.
Well, I think when you talk about the reason for the season, and how commercialized it to me has become. The real gift of it is being able to sit back and literally fellowship with the ones that love you during the season. You take every gift, but the biggest gift is time, and time is something that we don't control. You don't. We all get that 24 hours, and we can plan to it and multiply things, but the time that you spend creating lasting memories, fun, just being present, being there, not just running through the holidays, but truly taking that time out to create those, memories. I'm one that personally doesn't buy gifts anymore. I did at one time when my son was growing up. He's plus in his 30s now, and is literally creating time together. Like we did painting, which was very different for us. The movies, the home games, making up games. And of course, we took a couple of shots in there too, but it was really focusing on creating memories and being present in the moment. I'm like, turning off the cell phones, being engaged in conversation, being engaged in like the little, social media games that, are out, TikTok, tic-tac-toe. I haven't played that in years. And it was just like, oh, I got my butt whooped too. But it was fun just sitting back, playing those household games again. Wow. So to me, it was like really giving the gift of your presence and creating those memories. I think that's just the key to family time.
That's awesome. Coach?
Yeah, I love that. And that is so true. One thing for us is, excuse me, we have been trying for the last few years to break some of those generational curses, where Christmas and thank was nothing but running. You were having to go from one place to the other, from this house to that house, and you're having to be a part of this festivity and having to be a part of that. And this year we were just very intentional in where we were at. If the kids wanted to come over, they came over when they wanted to. We did Thanksgiving at my daughter's house. She spent some time with her dad down in the Kissimmee St. Cloud area. For Christmas, she made the decision that she didn't want to travel, and that's perfectly fine. We allowed ourselves to do what we wanted to do instead of what we've always done before. When our kids were little, and we had grandparents in Tampa, we had grandparents in Jacksonville, we had grandparents in Orlando. It was just a running frenzy all the time. You can't even enjoy yourself having to do that. So we decided that we were going to just slow down and enjoy the season. And the kids got up on Christmas morning. They did Christmas. Her dad and stepmom came down. They spent time. They took a little time off, and they came over in the afternoon and spent time with us on Christmas. We didn't have to be there at 6 a.m. to watch the kids open gifts. We actually opened all our gifts Christmas Eve because that was convenient and that worked better. And to me, it was just those generational things where you feel like you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do the other. They just, sometimes everybody's doing it and nobody wants to. So why do that? So we decided to do the things we wanted to do in the way that we wanted to do them as a family. And it was just so refreshing and relaxing.
So you guys have really blessed me tonight because it's almost like being vindication, because I did on the pastoral level, and we're blessed that Miss Shea is one of our I want to say members. We're brothers and sisters in this ministry together, and she knows what we try to accomplish. And we're so used to the traditional, watch care service, and I've had a hard time breaking our church from the thought of being in an actual building together at midnight, bringing the new year in together. But I guess, partly because of the crime issue, most congregations have, especially coming out of COVID, most congregations have moved watch care service to like 6 o'clock in the PM to 7 or something like that. And that's what we had attempted to do in the past years, and got a little pushback on it because people are just used to the traditional. So this year, because of some logistical things, and I just felt moved to say, okay, guys, at 12 o'clock tonight, because we had church on Sunday, at 12 o'clock, wherever you are, and that's going to be between you and your God where you are. If you're at a club, if you're at Disney, wherever you are, all I'm asking you to do is pull away with your family, because I know you'll be with somebody you love, and take a second and join and just give God a word of thanksgiving. And that was just great. My brother was here and his wife, because both of our ladies had gone to sleep and they get up early. So my brother and I, and we connected with our family in Jacksonville through technology, and we prayed the new year in like that. It was just a great thing, and we didn't break where we were. It wasn't like, oh, we got to get dressed. Not saying that we don't want to say it's inconvenient to go and be somewhere for God, but God is wherever we are. And I think the church, the house, the church is where we are, and the family churches, which is the original church, were home churches. It was just a great concept. Ms. Shea, I don't know, what did you think of that as a member of our fellowship? How did you feel about that? And being kind of freed up from saying we got to be at such a place where we're going to come together. How was that for you?
I was just fine, because I literally had planned to worship my way in my way. I had already kind of like decided that's what I was going to do. I'm like Curtis there. This year, I just felt like all of those extra demands being placed on my time, and what I needed to do was more so like, I want to do it this way. And for me, for the last couple of years, I've done that regardless, because during this holiday season a couple of years ago, I was hospitalized during this season. So it's also a very much so a time of reflection for me. So I had already planned on not going anywhere, and that's that's how I wanted to see it.
I think I think that's awesome, and I don't think anybody felt any guilt trips about that either. I think being freed up was good. Coach, how was your New Year's, if you don't mind sharing with us?
It was great. We had our 15-year-old granddaughter with us, and we watched TV and we hung out and we ate really bad food and we just enjoyed ourselves. We ate junk food and we had a ball. And come midnight, we did our little toast, and she was all excited because I found some glitter, and it's edible glitter. You put it in your drink, and when you stir it, it just swirls, and it makes it.
Yeah.
For her, that was just fabulous. She just thought that was the most amazing thing. We had our little toast, and then we all went to bed, and it was perfect. We did just what we wanted to do, and my wife, Joan rarely stays up, but because we did have the grand, she stayed up with us, and we just enjoyed it. It was just simple, and us. That's all I can say.
I'm loving it. I'm loving you guys, and I feel being with such esteemed life coaches as yourself. It really it kind of makes me it vindicates me. It vindicates what I wanted to do this year and what I kind of felt led to do, and I'm just grateful for your sharing. Kind of sticking with the subject of family, because like I say, it was just so great. A couple of years ago, we were with my brother and sister-in-law. We actually were away, but being with family and I'm tapping into what you said, Coach, not having the demands to be here or be there. It was just like our whole weekend was kind of like that. He felt like going to the mall. He said, "Bro, you ain't got to go with me. I know my way around." I was on the couch. I was a serious couch potato watching games, and we'll talk about the bad food later. But just the whole family thing, I love that we have gone back to the thing. Now, what I want to ask you, Ms. Shea, about family, how do we take the strength, the love, the bonds, the learning? You guys came together. I love what you said, both of you, are what you did with family over that holiday. How do you take that, and how does that strengthen you to go out into the world and be with the family of the world? I'm trying to use generic language. I'm not using spiritual language, but everybody in the spirit world knows what I'm talking. How does it take you to go out and be with the family of the world, leaving from a strong bond like both of you guys did for the New Year's?
I guess the best way to answer that question is, it's not just what you do over the holidays that gives you the strength to go out and deal with everyday world. It's what you do every day in your home. And whether I'm sitting here with family visiting, or I'm just in my own sanctitude. When I go out into the world, the workforce, or whatever I'm doing out there is to benefit my family, the community, myself. Like this is home team. I go out there to play, but I win. I'm winning, trying to win for my home team. And I say that to say those foundations is what keeps you grounded. It's your safe place. It's your place where you feel the most supported, where you should feel the most supported at. It's your face where you can take off every mask that you may have to wear at every place else that's outside. They get the you, they get the me, they get the naked truth of me, not just the happy go whatever. They get to see you in the days when you're down. And they should be your peace, your comfort. That's your home. That's what gives you the energy to go out and promote whatever your business is, or to operate in whatever your gifts are, is what you get from your home team. And whoever is your home team, it may not always be blood family, that's your home team, but that space that you create for home, wherever that is, that's what gives you your foundation to do everything else. That's how I feel about it. What about you, Coach?
I agree 100%, especially what you said about it doesn't have to be blood family. It can be the family that you want, you know.
Mm-hmm.
One thing a few years ago that I really, purposed in my mind and heart was I was no longer going to entertain people that did not fulfill me or help me grow, not being mean to folks, not shutting people out. But if you're all about a different vision than what I have, then why am I riding in your car? If I'm trying to go to Orlando and you're trying to go to Atlanta, there's no sense me getting in your car, right? So what I need to do is make sure that I'm with the people who are going where I'm going, who are looking for what I'm looking for, and maybe pick up a few folks on the way, I hope. But I've definitely in the last few years, I think I've told this story here before, maybe, but I had a friend. He and I have been friends since high school, and different things going on and on. And somebody asked me one day, said, "Let me ask you a question." And I said, "Okay." They said, "If you were to meet this fella today, would he be your friend?" And I said, "Oh God, no, absolutely not." And they said, "Then why is he your friend?" And I was taken aback because my answer was because we've been friends for so long. But sometimes that's not the answer. It's the same way with real family, blood family. Sometimes you have to make that decision that if you're not feeding me, then I'm not going to be able to do this with you anymore. I'm not going to be ugly to you. I'm just going to move in a different circle, and you can do what you want to do, and I'm going to do what I need to do, and take the people that want to be with me where I want to go. That's how I've been looking at it for the last probably 2 years now.
So it's two things I want to say about that. And it's interesting. I came across this little meme just before I came on. I didn't send it to Madam Producer to post, but probably would have got shot on my Facebook anyway. But let me just tell you about it. And in addition to what you just said, Coach, it said, and tonight we're not going to talk about resolutions. We're going to talk about why you don't talk resolutions in a minute. But we're not going to talk. We're going to talk about setting priorities. And you're the guy. You guys are the experts, and I'm going to listen to you on this. But this is what this says, and I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to tell you my personal thing as a child of God and as a man of God. So it says goals for this year. I don't know if the camera could pick this up. It would have been far better if I had shared it to Madam Producer. But it says goals for this year. Oh, I just lost it. Come on back. So I got to bring it back up this way, and I can't. Oh no, whose page was that on? Let's see. I can't remember whose page it was. Where did I just see that? Okay, so we'll come back to that. We'll talk about these goals for next year. I thought I had saved it. Maybe I saved it to the other picture frame. I know I saved it. No, I didn't. So it said goals for this year. Stay away from still people, still complaining, still broke, still angry, still arrogant, and I can't remember. It was a list of still things. Okay, so it's showing that you're saying staying away from people who have negative vibes, so to speak. Now, what I want to ask you all, and I'll start with you, Michelle. How about we're guided by a scripture that says, "Let your light so shine," to draw people. Paraphrasing, you shine the light of Christ to draw others to you, to God through you. When we say, "Okay, I'm gonna create distance," as Coach is saying, and I'm just throwing this out as an opposites advocate. When we create distance for people that may have issues, and perhaps is there ever a possibility that maybe we were here to draw these people to the light, or what do you guys take on that? I know this is a little bit away from priorities. We'll get to that.
Well, if I understand your question correctly, as being light of the world, I guess you want to say, or having Christ in us, or being the drawing of the light, it did not say allow people to drain your light. It said draw them to the light. So if I am drawing you to the Christ in me, and the most powerful thing I think you can do for anyone that's negative or still in a place is pray for them. It takes you away from being the savior. You're not their savior. You're not the light to guide them. You are to lead them to the light. And when people come to you like that, it's because they see something in you. They see something, maybe a strength, maybe it's something that you've endured. We've overcome by our testimony. So if you're sharing that with them and it's going to help them, that's fine. But it should not drain you. So when it comes to setting priorities, where this does come, and if you're out of balance with that and people are just sucking you dry and draining your energy, where does your light go? You got to stay plugged in. You have to take time to stay plugged in to your source for you to be light. And if you allow somebody to continuously draw your light, when do you have time to get plugged in? Who's going to feed into you? Relationships are reciprocal.
I love it.
That person is not, if I've been carrying you for 10 years, or I'm not even going to talk about that. If I've been carrying you for so long and there is no change, I can't carry you. That is not what you were built for. That was not what you were designed for. And what kind of covenant is that? Is that your husband? Is that your wife? I mean, there's just like relationships that are out of sync, that we're putting too much, I guess you want to call it, too much energy into to try to make something that is not. Every person has their own path. Every person. And your job is to let them go through that pathway. If you can help them along the way, do it. Absolutely do it. I'm not saying that. But the most powerful thing you can do is never forget to cover them in prayer.
Amen. Coach, what's your take on that? Thanks, Michelle. That's awesome.
Well,
That's
it's like when you're having to deal with someone at work. I've always said, if you ever have to get to the point of terminating somebody at work, it should never be a surprise. You should have had these conversations ongoing so they know what's happening, what's going on. It's the same way with family. It's not like you just walk up one day and say, okay, I'm never speaking to you again. In my personal experience, we've had these conversations. Hey, you know what? Every time we get together, it's always negative. Every time we get together, you're talking about this one or running down that one, and I prefer not to spend my energy on that. Right. So, then again, people come back around and hit you up and they'll say, hey, you know what? We ain't hung out in a long time. Hadn't heard from you. Hadn't talked to you. What's going on? And I said, well, I'm doing this, and this, and I didn't feel like maybe you wanted to be a part of that. No. I think you're right. I see that maybe, how things are. And sometimes people get to make that decision to get to come back in because and it's not that I'm so right and they're so wrong, but we come to a understanding of what we want as friends or family or however you want to say it.
I'm blessed tonight totally to be in the presence of two great people of advice. Coach Curtis Dean and Coach Shalonda Johnson, just awesome advice, awesome insights for living. The other thing is, we were talking about family. When you talk about Kim, my partner in crime on this show, and Coach, we were introduced to him. says that, and yes, this is a kind of, yesterday is our nephew's would have been our nephew's 34th birthday, I think. Kim's son, Dozie. And I see a lot of times he closes his post by saying, "We're all we got." Family, we're all we got. How is that an accurate statement when we're family? You all just said that we're family to non-blood relatives. How about that? How accurate is that? As a concept.
To me, it's very accurate. Because you have, I guess some people want to call it your ride or die. I mean, there's some family members that I don't think would throw a bucket of water on me if I was on fire. And I've got some friends. I've got some friends that I've known. Kim, for example, we've been friends probably only 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and there's not a doubt in my mind if I needed that man and dialed his number, he'd pick that phone up. So family is what you make it. Family is what's in the heart. It's what's in the spirit. It's what's in the mind. It's not blood. So. We might be all we've got. And I consider that to be Kim as much as I do to consider my brother by any other illusion. So that's the way I look at it.
Absolutely. In total agreement. Family is not always bloodline. Again, you'll have, like you said, you have some family members that would, throw you in front of the bus other than, for real. Like they do not, they is not kicking it with you. Blood means nothing to them, right? But then you have friends that co-workers or whatever, the community that you've built is your family. And, what that looks like for you all, that's it. And we are all, what we have. We really are. We are, like our brother's keeper. Am I my brother's keeper? So yes, I absolutely agree with that.
So my and we're going to get into priors on the other half of the break. Of course, I grew up in Jacksonville, and we lived we lived in one house. Our grandparents, the matriarch, and she was the dominant force, matriarch and granddaddy, lived next door to us, and then down the street was our auntie, my dad's sister. And then when my cousin Dozell got married, he moved two houses down. So literally 22nd Street in Duval was like our street. So that was our family. And then of course, when people got married and moved out, we had the football games on Thanksgiving Day. We ate at my grandmother's house on Christmas. We were all close. My mother's side of the family was more spread out. Their base is North Carolina, but with family members in Carolina, Michigan. We're in Florida. So one of the things, the latter part of this year, the last several years, like particularly 2020, that crazy year, God kind of laid it on me as the oldest of the family, because my mother's the oldest of 8 siblings, was to bring our cousins together. So one of the first things we did was had a cousins text thread. And if you ever want to see a chain reaction, let one person come across something. Like one of our cousins last night came across a picture that encompassed many of our parents, and they showed that. And man, that line was just pinging all night long. Now, for some people, that's irritating, but for me, it was exciting. I say, man, we're so connected. Unfortunately, we lost 2 of our last aunts. My mother's related with the remaining siblings, but we lost the 2 aunts, so we had to come together for those services this year. But when we come together, and my cousin, her mother was the first to pass this year, and she said, "I got a surprise." We met at her sprawling house, and she said, "I got a surprise," and it was one of my closest uncles. He's the younger of the brothers, and his son was coming later on. We were meeting at that fellowship that night, and man, it was just like so great to see him. So one of the things we did, we started planning reunions. We had a reunion planned for Orlando in 2020. We ended up having to make it virtual. My brothers and I ended up going to Orlando still, but we did it virtually. And my mother turned 90 during the reunion, so we did a surprise birthday party for her nationwide. And it was just so we have maintained such a bond the last 4 or 5 years, and we're doing a virtual reunion in February, and then we're planning to get together somehow, maybe a cruise, maybe just going to Orlando later in the summer. I said all that to say this: what are some activities that families can do to increase connectedness? And then the second part of that question will be, what can families do, like a lot of people do Martin Luther King Day as a day of service? What can families do? I know Miss Shalonda's family is always about doing, when they reunion, they always do something of service. How strong is the mandate that we go out and serve this present age, our calling to fulfill? That's the song. What do you all, help me on that?
I think you said it all, from the family group chats to planning activities to what works in the dynamics of staying connected to, telling the stories, really knowing your family history, understanding, sitting up on the, why, if you're still blessed to have your grandmothers or things of that nature, really spending time in their presence, hearing about your family, but also discussing things that are going to last you for the other part of your life. Health history, know your family health history, like get into that. Forget all the fun stuff is great, but know your health history. Know some of the things that are generational curses in your family. Be able to talk about those things as well. Those things are very important in discussing, family ties, understanding what may have caused roadblocks in your family so that next generations are not necessarily hitting that. But having open, honest dialogue to build relationships and cultivate those relationships, which what works in your dynamics. Not everything is for everybody, but putting together something that everyone can do can be fun. Even like with your Greek sororities, our sorority days are kind of coming up here, and day of service is huge with those, in Greek sorority. It's also great in family, but inside the family versus serving the community, you may have a family member that has a need, excuse me, and the family can rally around that need and support that particular, family member. Again, just starting to know each other is a basis for kicking off, family, and social media allows you to do that. I know a lot of my family members through social media because I'm in Florida and my family is, other places. So again, those things are just, key to keeping in communication. And prioritizing it. You got to want to do it. You got to want to do it. You got to make time for it. It
has to be important. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For us, there was two things for us. And it's one thing I'm really proud of my daughter of, because we never always talked about it, but our house was always the house on Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays, when there was anyone who didn't have anywhere to go, they always came to our house, right? When I was a McDonald's manager, when I always had kids working for me, and there a lot of them came from different backgrounds and different family situations, and a lot of it wasn't good. And, or people who were just by themselves, single moms, and all these kind of things. And our house was always open on Thanksgiving. Our house, always, Christmas, always our house was open. People came. They used to call themselves the misfits, when the one nobody else wanted, they knew where to go. They'd always come to our house because they always knew, number one, we were going to have fun. Number two, we were going to have food. So they were always happy. And I've seen my daughter do that exact same thing the last few years when she's hosted Thanksgiving. People, she goes, hey, so-and-so is going to be there because their family's out of town, or hey, so-and-so is going to be there because they don't have anybody else. And to me, I couldn't have passed down a greater gift than compassion and love for others, to make them want to invite people into their home and give them the love that maybe they wouldn't get on those holidays, so they don't have to be alone. And the second thing that's huge for us as a family is cooking, right? Yesterday, Brinley, the little one, had been gone to her other grandmother's, they call them Lolly and Lollipop. They were down at Lollipops for the week in St. Cloud. And so she came back and we had the older grand. And so yesterday we just had a big old taco bar at the house, right? Chicken, we had ground beef, we had steak, and we had all the trimmings, and everybody brought something, everybody contributed. And we just had a big old giant taco bar, and we watched TV, we listened, we played a game, we just had fun, and that was what it is for us. To me, just making sure that the people have a place to go, and then passing down those traditions to my kids. And teaching my daughter how to make my mom's breakfast potatoes, right? That's what we call them. Nothing better. I need to teach her how to make mama's fried chicken, just a bunch of little things. Tonight, it's cold here. It was rainy. It's not a great night. They wanted chicken pot pie. So I made 2. All she had to do was come pick it up, take it home, pop it in the oven, and we had chicken pot pie for dinner, separately, but together, To me, those are the things that bring our hearts together.
You never know where the dialogue is headed when you got 2 fantastic guests, Sister Shalonda Johnson, life coach extraordinaire, Curtis Dean. We'll be right back after the break. So Republicans, I've extended a lot of grace over the last 6 weeks or so because I don't want to deal with nothing political. I didn't have the gut for none of that stuff over the last 2 months. I just wanted to enjoy the Christmas cheer, the New Year cheer, the love fest that we're having tonight. But I'm coming at y'all in the next few weeks. Just know that. Orange Hitler, you're straight in the crosshairs of Dane Dog and Governor DeSanctimonious. We'll be looking at you also for Are You Serious? Yeah, you want to be president, but you're turning our state into a Gestapo state. We'll talk about it later. Tonight, I want to, first of all, I want to do a shout out to President Joe Biden and Madam Producer. We didn't get any graphics for that, but today he spoke at Mother Emanuel Church, and it was not the anniversary of the tragedy that occurred 8 years ago in 2015, but what it was something to slow down the momentum of the MAGA Republicans, and this is not political, but the MAGA Republicans / white supremacists who that methodology, that mindset, that conceptualization led to the tragedy as that young man went in there and said he wanted to start a race war. And he assassinated, I think it was 8 innocent people. I got my own concept in South Carolina. If we had gone in, if a BLM member or somebody from what this nation would call us Black subversive group were to go into a predominantly white congregation or any gathering and kill people, said we wanted to start a race war, I guarantee you the police would not have picked them up and stopped them by McDonald's on the way to incarceration. And that incarceration, of course, does not entail death sentencing. So I'm through with that. But hats off to you, President Biden, first for taking the gloves off and stop sitting by and let this wannabe dictator go out and say and do anything in preparation to run against you in the fall. Thank you for taking off the gloves and coming back and trying to get our young constituents and minority constituents, Hispanic constituents, African-American constituents to go and regather them, but to say to the world, if you don't like my leadership, and we'll talk about all that in upcoming weeks, consider the alternative. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The other hot topic that's trending, and Madam Producer, you can bring out I want to call them guests, my brother and sister back up. And we're going to get to these priorities. But the hot thing is this breaking the internet is Cat Williams's interview on Club Shay Shay, the best podcast on the internet. I have looked at it. My wife asked me if I had seen it. I can tell her that I've almost seen all 221 minutes and 55 seconds because I've seen it in intervals. And I heard today, last night, I heard Gary Owens say, he talked about everybody, but find a fallacy or a lie in anything that he said. What's y'all's take on all of the exposure that came out of that interview? I know you've seen it.
It's funny because I was going to say when I first came on, just so you know, I'm not going to blow you up like Cat Williams did. Okay, I'm going to take it easy on you. But I told someone today, I said, they still over there folding dirty laundry over there at Club Shay Shay. They over there getting it cleaned up. And I had pulled up this quote when we were talking just a few minutes ago. We were talking about family and having to make excuses for people or are forcing people in our lives. And this was something that Cat Williams said. I had it pulled up right here. So I love that you said that. Cat Williams said, if you wanted me to speak more highly of you, then perhaps you should have treated me better. You do not get to narrate my story of my experiences with you. And that is so true. You don't get to tell me how it happened. I was there. I lived it. I know what we went through. I know you want me to sanitize it so this one doesn't get their feelings hurt or so somebody doesn't know the real you, but that's not how we're going to do this anymore. We're going to keep it real, and people are going to have to own their actions from now on in this world. We all got to put our big boy panties on, and people have to be responsible for their actions and the way they do things, because you don't get to narrate my story of my experience with you. And I absolutely love that.
Wow. Michelle, what was your reaction to this?
I mean, because of Shay Shay, I felt great about it, right? My name being Shay, so it was great.
Do you look at Shay Shay? Do you look at any of his? He has all the best guests on.
I definitely became a fan that particular night. I think he did a great job of hosting it and letting it be, allowing him to express his truth. And a clear representation of his experience. And he didn't have to water it down. It was his experience. It was, like he said with the quote, this is my interaction. This is what I've done. This is, I was here. I've lived this. This is from me. Now, I'm not going to personally spend any time trying to fact find it. I just don't. I'm not going to do that. Everybody's doing a lot of them on the internet, so go for them. And kudos to Cat. Kudos to Cat for being able to speak his truth. And I think it takes a strong individual to be able to stand in your truth, speak your truth, and be prepared to deal with any outfall of the consequences from it. So, kudos to the interview. And it is trending, definitely social media. And I wish I had an interaction with Cat because I can use some of the publicity right now.
So Club Shay Shay is when podcasts became, and a lot of this thing, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate GoGetYourCreations.com. I didn't shout them out. I love and appreciate them. My daughter picked us all up, and we're like family because we all started out of the throes of the pandemic, the three of us and others with this group producing us. But Club Shay Shay was something that Shannon did on the side of being on the sports debate show Undisputed with Skip Bayless. They had a falling out. He was comfortable just doing Club Shay Shay, and you see how well it is. And then Stephen A. Smith brought him on. He's on Mondays and Tuesdays now on First Take. So he has his hands full. But I thought, I can't tell you how many times that you guys saw it. During the course of it, he just was falling on the couch, said, "No, Cat, no, I can't. This show is over. Nobody will come here now after this." But I take from what you guys just said. I think that the brother spoke a lot of truth. People been some fact finding it, people making fun of. Some people have done responses to it. But I think Gary Owens said last night. I think from what I saw was spot on when he said, "Listen, find him falsifying any of his statements." He said, find that he's falsified his statements. The credibility is what he said. the shock value is that he said that most people let this stuff go, but he got on a nationwide forum and expressed. Okay, that's all we're gonna do with that. Let's talk about priorities for the new year.
Well, we talked about it some last year about, making sure that we're not setting great big pie in the sky resolutions, right? Because when you do that, you're just setting yourself up for failure. I'm not eating another carb in 2024. I'm not going to drink another drink of alcohol in 2024. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. When we should be just trying to have small, achievable actions, right? You guys have heard me say 1,000 times that small hinges swing big doors. And I believe that so much. You compounded actions. Darren Hardy said you only need to take a series of tiny steps consistently over time to radically improve your life. Everything in life exists because you first made a choice about something. You decide you love cinnamon rolls. So you get up every morning now and you eat a cinnamon roll every morning. And in 6 months, you realize you have gained maybe 10 pounds. Well, what in the world happened? I'm still doing this. I'm still doing that. But what did you add in? Was it that cinnamon roll? By that same token, you can take out something. Doesn't have to be huge. Maybe you like to have wine, a glass or two of wine 2 or 3 times a week. Maybe you cut back to 1 or 2 times a week. Maybe you have a vegetarian night once a week instead of going full-blown vegetarian because that's what you think you should do. So you take small steps that add up over time to big things, being intentional about what you're putting in your mouth, what you're putting in your body, what you're doing overall.
So Michelle, before you respond, my daughter, just responding to what you said about the health things, my daughter recommended Madam Producer's, one of her best friends growing up, who is a physical trainer. And she's big on the internet, has a big following. And she suggested her for this show. And I thought about it and I said, no, we'll bring her on and some health professionals together because I think you guys, and I've been off topic a lot tonight. We have a lot to say in an hour. But I think health, I'm so glad you guys are emphasizing health as part of our priorities for this year. Michelle, I'm sorry to break in.
Oh, no. I mean, I totally agree with what was said because it is about setting small obtainable things, but you may want to break them down in categories, right? So it may be a small, what do I want to do with my time? Where do I want to spend my time? Do I want to learn something new? Do I want to remove something? You may want to do that. You may want to declutter some things. That means your mind, right? You may want to just do some decluttering. How can I do that? When can I do that? You're being intentional about it. So if your goals are health, overall health, then break down what that is in that goal. It's like the big goal is health. Now, what's the little goals of it? Is it weight, losing weight? Is it management of it? Is it going to the doctor? Is it taking time to go to the doctor? Is it a checkup? Like break that down. Go ahead and be specific so that you can have obtainable small items that you're just not pie in the sky, but we're being intentional about what that is. So we all are a trichotomy of human beings. It's mind, body, soul, spirit, all of those things, right? So when you look into setting goals, you may want to have financial goals. I mean, I just got hit today with homeowners increase, all kind of stuff. Insurance is increasing. So I'm really having to look at my finances different. Everything is going up. So just to where the goal was, okay, I would love to save this amount. Now is how can I maintain? What does it look like? What can I remove? What can I maintain? Go back and look at subscriptions and say, I got a whole bunch of stuff I'm paying for. Do I need all of this? Basically, I'm not looking at the Fire Stick anymore. I might spend that time walking. What are those financial goals? So now you're starting to break everything down. What are my relational goals? Maybe I'm single and I want to start dating. What are goals in that area? Okay. Maybe my spiritual life. Maybe I want to start reading. Do I want to read the Bible in a year? Do I want to spend 10 minutes a day? Do I want to take out time to just meditate? What does that spiritual goal look like? So again, start chunking things out so you're not all over the place. And then put timelines on it. I'm going to work on this the first quarter. This is just like, planning at work. If you don't plan, you're going to sit up to fail. Even when we do all of this planning, plan falls apart, right? Because I definitely didn't plan for all these financial increases, but without that plan in place, I wouldn't even know how to go and look at my budget and say, what do I need to remove so I can maintain? Or what do I need to pull off here so I can maintain? So is it being intentional in the month of January of really setting yourself up for success, but in all areas of your life? Don't just, in all areas of your life, start kind of looking at what it is I want to see at the end of the year. Because if we put all of our focus on that one pie, it's not going to happen. But what can I be consistent at? And the key thing is consistency, but it's in all areas of my life. And if I can't be consistent on all across the borders, maybe I can chunk it up. These are my first 6-month goals or my first 6-week goals. Okay, great. Now I'm able to add something, right? Because I can't focus on all this stuff, but now I'm able to add something. So now what's my priority? For me, my priority right now is making sure I have a solid financial plan, because I got hit with stuff that was not planned for me. So yeah, definitely I want to lose weight, but I don't want to get stressed out over my finances. And now I'm losing weight because I'm stressed. So that ain't the weight goal I was looking for, right? I want my weight to be because I'm intentional about what I'm putting in my body, right? So, but this may have been number one. That may have come to 1.5, because now if I start to get stressed out over something, I'm an eater. I stress eat. So if my stress goes up, this goal over here is going to go down, because now I'm stress eating. So my priority is like, let's look at these finances. Let's have a serious look at what we need to do to maintain and control this. And now other things can start to get in so many places, because you can have so much stuff going on. And most of us do. We have work, we have life, we have everything hitting us, right? So now you got so much stuff, and it's like, I want to avoid this. And that's where you get into like not prioritizing things, right? Not because I don't want to, not because I don't think I need to. I just cannot mentally deal with one more doggone thing, right? But that's when you got to start chunking it out, small bits of pieces at a time. And then you'll have time to move over here. And working with a schedule. I thought I would never be one that has to work with a schedule. Now I'm like, I need to check my schedule. I need to put it on my schedule to make sure it gets done, and have Alexa hold me accountable. Have Alexa or somebody hold me accountable. You got to have accountability.
Coach, man, I'm talking about a serious gem you just spit there. Coach, she was talking about stress eating. I had not heard that, but is that what causes me to eat that bad food that you were talking about over the holiday? Coach, how do we decide what we should prioritize about? I think she just gave us a lead into that, but how do we just hone in and say, this needs to be a priority, this needs to be a priority? I like what you said about putting the fire stick down, walking more. Coach, what do you say about that? That clock slapping us upside the head. So if you help us with that, please.
Well, I think it's what keeps coming up for you, right? What keeps coming up in your mind. And if you're constantly worried about your finances, well, then maybe that's an area you need to concentrate on, right? If you've got $1 million and you're overweight, you're not necessarily going to worry about money. You're going to worry about your weight. Or if you don't have any time and you have plenty and you're in great health, you might want to worry more about your time. It's going to be whatever comes up for you. What's in your mind? What do you constantly go to you? What are you thinking about? So maybe that's what you need to focus on, because if it keeps coming up for you, your body, your intention, your gut, whatever you want to call it, is trying to tell you something, right?
Exactly.
And then the other thing is, and I said this plenty of times on here too, we have to show ourselves grace, right? So I want to eat better this week, right? I want to not spend so much money this week. But then I go to return something at Kohl's, and of course they give me a $5 Kohl's buck or whatever it is. So now when I get up to the register, I'm gonna buy something. Well, instead of beating yourself up for it, you go, okay, well, you know what? I spent that. Now we're going to see where I can get better and continue on going forward.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, we have to make sure we're talking good to ourselves. We have to make sure we're treating ourselves good. Talk to yourself like you'd want to talk to your spouse or your friend or your neighbor. Don't beat yourself up, right? Just because you ate one cupcake doesn't mean that you're a fat slob who's always going to be a giant. You know, what it means is you're a human. You ate a cupcake. What are we going to do tomorrow? Let's start over, right? If you spent too much today, or if you drank too much today, or if you didn't exercise, I was going to get up this morning. I was going to go walk that 2 miles, and that didn't happen. So in the morning, maybe I think I'm going to get up and just maybe put on a yoga video or something, maybe do some yoga right in the house, because maybe I'll do that, right? If you're not doing the other, what can you do? And give yourself some grace. We're all just human beings. And the one person that's going to give you the biggest excuse for not doing something is you.
All right.
You're going to be all right. It's going to be fine. You don't have to do that today. You don't have to do that right now. You can take care of that later. Show yourself a little grace, but then hold yourself accountable as well.
Exactly.
I love that concept of showing yourself grace. I mean, I know it has to be balanced with discipline, but I appreciate that. I mean, you can have a bad habit, or you can have something in the spiritual realm that you want to get out of your system. And when you can be doing ever so well, you fall short. And we would just say in the spiritual realm, the enemy is trying to drag me down, and will try to let you wallow in that guilt. And you have to do, like you said, show yourself grace. And I will, in the spiritual realm, you say, okay, God, forgive me, give me strength to move on. Let me walk in the strength you've given me, and you move on. I love both of you all seeing that. Do I have a wrap-up word from both of you all? I got to get a commitment from you guys to see you again before the end of the quarter, because this is just great stuff that people and the producers been telling me to chunk this stuff out short during the week, and I'm going to do just that this week with this show.
Go ahead. I think for me to wrap it up is just, again, make yourself some small goals if you want. Decide what's important to you. Decide what's important to your family. Find a buddy maybe to do it with, whether that's a spouse, a friend, an accountability partner. And not being accountable so you can make each other feel bad, but be accountable so you can say, hey, I know we can do this. You know what? You weren't the only one today who did whatever that was. I did it too. Tomorrow's going to be a better day for both of us. Because, in the end, we're all just walking each other home. So.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this space thank you for allowing me to share this space. To me, everything is a season. Everything is a season. So whatever season that you're in, show up as your authentic self. Give yourself grace, pray your way through it, have a vision, have goals, have a purpose. You have a purpose. Be intentional about your motives. Check in with yourself, but also keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. The year has just begun. This is only the beginning. And you look back every now and then. It's good to just remind yourself of every mountain you've already come over. Yes. And as you continue to move forward, may God give you all grace and favor for the next season of your life. Because again, a new day is coming, new grace, new mercy every single day. Walk in your purpose one day at a time, literally one day at a time. If it's a bad day, it's just one day. Tomorrow's coming. It's just one day. We got 365 of them, and how many left in this year. Awesome. Do your best, being you.
How is it
fun along the way?
How is it that I'm the preacher, but I leave this show encouraged by you guys greatly, just fantastically. Coach, you always wear the flyest hats. You got to tell me about your hatter. One day we'll do that. Guys, before we go, please share your recent merch or products or websites. would do no good to have you on this show if you don't make yourself available to our public.
For me, you can just simply reach me through Facebook. I've gotten busy enough. I don't really pay for my website or any of that anymore. It just wasn't advantageous to me. I'm just doing it through Facebook. If you want to email me, it's playbigcoach@gmail.com. I do have a few spots open to do life coaching if anybody is interested. We have a discovery call. We can talk about it, see what you're looking for, see if I can help you with that, and then move forward from there. But it's playbigcoach@gmail.com.
Awesome. Michelle?
For me, if you need me to help you MC something, host something, or you have any type of speaking engagement you would like me to speak at, as it regards to process improvement, anything, honestly, process improvement, time management, you can reach me also through Facebook. And that's it.
Guys, I 10,000 appreciations to you all. Love and appreciate you. Thank you for your spirit of generosity to share with Dozie land, and then it goes beyond this. Just appreciate you guys immensely. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. The habits of New Year's. Listen, I'm not going to do it as I like it so we can get out of here. Tonight's show is dedicated to the loving memory of Miss Shamir Johnson. Miss Shamir Johnson. Shamir is a young lady that I had the privilege of pastoring in the Sterling, the Rock Valley area, the Salt Valley area of Illinois for 9 years. I literally saw her grow up. Shamir moved here to Fort Lauderdale, and we never connected. And she had relocated back. And some people say, gone too soon, untimely death. I won't say that because it's all in God's time and his season, as Michelle just said, and I'll honor his sovereignty to know when to call his saints home. But Miss Shamir, we're going to miss you immensely. Just got off the phone with both her mother and her sister. We love you. God bless you. God bless your loving children, your partner, your friend. We love you. She grew up with both of my daughters, Toya, our producer, and we love you, and God bless you. Bless your family. That's a nice dialogue with Dozie. Next week, we're going to talk Martin Luther King.